a podcast where you don't need an invite to join the conversation. Welcome to Add Me to the Group Chat. Hi, you guys. Welcome to Add Me to the Group Chat, another solo. You know, I kind of love it. It's a vibe. Yeah, it really is a vibe. I actually really enjoy talking to you guys. There's a lot of conversations happening all the time, and I have the privilege to bring them to you. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my assignment. Yes. If you want to join the conversation, though, that's why it is called. Now my dog's barking. What? Why is Timber barking? I don't even know. Can you hear him? I have no idea. I have to put him in his bed when I do recordings because I honestly cannot trust the fact that he is not going to jump up and act up. But I guess if he did, it is what it is. But I want to tell you, yes, this is what I want to tell you. You can submit questions to my email. It's that simple. Maybe one day I'll have something a little bit fancier. I just don't want one more thing to keep up with. I can go to my inbox. I have two emails. I have a personal and a work. I have my work email in the show notes and also in the description. You can email me, you guys, and I can just tell you my email. Or you can just look it up. It doesn't matter. It's my name. It's ambermichellelykins@gmail.com. Nothing too fancy. And I actually have multiple emails. I have a third that's actually like a contact for people that want to contact me or whatever for like product through my website. There's just a lot of things. Like if there's like questions or support or something like that, we have that option as well. I just don't want one more thing to check. I'm telling you, I know myself and I'm like, I can have the systems and all that in place, but am I going to check it as often as I need to? Probably not. So we're not going to do that. You can just email me if you want to have submit questions that you know 100% you want topics to be talked about on the podcast. You can even DM me. You can do that. So easy to do that. Just slip into the DMs, you guys. Send me a question, whatever it is, or just a simple topic. Whatever that looks like. Or maybe you have a question like, hey, this is what's going on right now in my life. Do you have feedback on it? Do you know what I mean? Like maybe something like that. Maybe it's like a husband question, or maybe it's when my sister's on, or if a family, like my mom comes back on. I do have some awesome guests lined up. So those will be coming soon as well. So yeah. And when Courage is here too, you know that Alan and Courage are my co-host and they are like not here. Courage is coming in a couple weeks. Alan, he just, he's like, if you need me, I'm there. But he's not like trying to run in here to get on the mic. Do y'all know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. He's just not that. So it's cool. It's cool. But we're going to get into it. One thing I did listen to the other day, I listened to a lot of podcasts, but I listen to them and watch them. Two different things. I enjoy the visual effect of a podcast, but I'm not going to just sit and watch it like a TV show. Like I'm not doing that. I am doing laundry. I'm washing dishes, I'm cooking dinner, I'm in the villa, I'm driving, I'm in my office doing computer work. And when I'm doing that, to be honest, I cannot just listen. I pause it and I come back to it. So there's a lot of times it'll take me maybe, all day to get through a whole episode or a couple days. And that's okay with me. I do end up finishing it though. And I enjoy the YouTube platform because it offers that and I love it. So anyways, wherever you're tuning in, watching, listening, whatever, I hope my mic is in position because girl has double chin. Yes, let's not let that show. I need a big monitor. I've been saying this for years. Like I'm not even playing with y'all. I've had a studio, had it for 5 years. And I never had a huge monitor at my studio because I had mirrors everywhere and I could see from my camera. I was not that far away from my camera, but these shots that I'm getting these days are too far away. I cannot see myself. So I'm crossing my fingers, girl. And I'm like, I hope that it's fine. Yes, I hope so. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I say all that because I was just focused on my mic and I was like, is it in the right position? I'm not sure. Okay. If you don't know who I am, I'm just going to do a little light intro So I am Ambermichellelykins. I have been in the beauty industry for over 2 decades, and I started in that industry at 19. With me being in that, I felt really head over heels in love when it came to beauty because it was more about self-care for me and how it made me feel. And it was a growth. Oh my gosh, 2 years in beauty. Can you imagine like all the trends and the styles and everything that was going around changed and evolved so much. I became a makeup artist and I did one-on-one consultations with women to help them when it came to beauty. I did weddings, prom, special events, all types of things like that, and traveled for that. And it was really, really fun. And good money is in that industry. Let me tell you, I did not think about that in the beginning. I just knew I was like, I can make a good living doing this and I want to do it and it'll be flexible. But my gosh, it was awesome. And I really enjoyed it. I then became a mom. Well, I got married at 22. So I was like in my single days, like at 19, whatever, when I started in this industry. And then I started, Alan was my boyfriend. Actually, we started dating when I was 18, so really young. So he's been with me since I've been in beauty. And that's kind of been cool because, he has seen me evolve. It's funny because I do ask him questions and he pays no attention. I'm like, did you even see what I had on or what my makeup was like? Like, stop it. And at 22, I was married. Alan and I are like 5.5, 6 years apart. If you ask him, I think it's like 6 to him. I'm like, I think it's like 5.5. I don't know. I'm not doing the math. He's the math guy, but he's older than me, period. And then at 26, 27, I got pregnant, had a miscarriage. Then at that time, I got pregnant very fast after that, and I had a daughter, Tinley, and she would be turning 12 in December. I cannot believe that was 12 years ago. That seems so wild. From there, she was a stillborn, and she was born 3 months early because I was very sick and undiagnosed as a type 1 diabetic, very different from type 2. Type 1, type 2 is the difference of your pancreas working at all. And your pancreas produces an insulin which burns the sugar that's going into your bloodstream. So when you eat anything, bread, sugary, vegetable, anything like that, that is not just protein, not like an egg, meat, fish, chicken, something like that, or cheese, it has sugar in it. And that affects the sugar that goes into your body. So when your pancreas does not work, you are not burning sugar. You're not, do you hear my cat sneezing? He is a human. He's a human in a dog form, but he's a cat. It is wild to me how every cat that we have has completely different personalities. Anyways, he sneezes a lot. I don't know what's going on. It started getting warmer again. I'm like, can we cool off? Because it's making everybody's allergies and sinuses and everything act up. And he's one of them. He was sneezing. Oh, he's sneezing again. He's sneezing all last night. I was like, why is he sneezing? Why is he sneezing? I need to look into that. If y'all know, let me know. And so that is a little bit about type 1, type 2. Type 1, 100% has to be on insulin driven, like you're on an insulin. So you're on a pump or you're on injections, which means you give it to yourself. You're on something like that. And type 2 is like typically like almost a pill form. Some type 2s are on shots. It just depends on where you are on the spectrum with that. But I was like immediately, I was very, very sick and nobody detected it. Super sad. I have a story on my YouTube channel talking about Tinley and that experience. Alan was with me for that. I do feel like I do want to re-record that for this platform. We have to start putting some time into ourselves, especially as a busy woman and a mom. We honestly don't put too much time into ourselves. As someone that's experienced burnout many times and also frustration in life and not understanding why am I feeling this way, it really boils down to not putting putting any energy into myself. My cup is empty. How can I fulfill my cup? And it really comes down to self-care. If that comes with a body mask or a face mask, hair treatment, pedicure, or even just a little, relaxation, 30-minute TV time, whatever it looks like to you. Sometimes we decide to not do it because it takes too much time or it's too expensive to do. I have created an amazing body care line that is affordable and so amazing for you to do at home and not break the bank. So our company is Like Butter, and it is absolutely to die for. Women go crazy over our body butters, over our sugar scrubs, and also our bar soap. Everything's very clean and natural, and it's not made with harsh, toxic ingredients. And it also is helping a small business as a woman entrepreneur. I am so excited that I get to give you a code personally. So thank you for listening to the podcast, but the code is AMBER. Use AMBER at checkout at our website, likebutter.com, and that is LYKBUTTAH.com. Go there, shop, enjoy. But listen, I have some exciting news rolling out this fall and winter. We have some new things coming. So make sure you get on our email list, our text list, and we cannot wait to package up your order personally. Love you so much. Let's get back to it. I was like, maybe I could strip the audio and use that and like upload it or something like that. But I was like doing my makeup in the midst of it. And I think I talked some about makeup. I don't know. I'll rewatch it and see if it would make sense to just use that same footage, or do we need to re-record it? But Tinley is so special. We talk about her all the time. I can talk about her without getting upset. But then a lot of times I do talk about her or think of her and I do get very, very sad. It depends on the context of the conversation. But when she was born, she was a 2-pound baby. You can imagine having 2 pounds of meat. You know what I mean? Like, and then it has like arms and legs. Like, every detail of her was on her body, when it came to lashes, to eyebrows, to lips, to fingernails. Her body shape was like beautiful. She looked like she could survive out of the womb. I was like, oh, she is like baby, like she's just a preemie. And it was like that. And she was pretty filled out and so, so beautiful, as we all believe our babies are beautiful, but she was just a beautiful little girl. So that was super devastating, you guys, having a stillborn and going through that. And it's a lot of trauma that I feel myself getting hot right now. I still deal with today. And, it really sucks. So that's that. Then we immediately got pregnant with Maddox because I was actively like, I want to be a mom. I want to have a baby. Let's try again. And so we got pregnant with Maddox super quick. And we actually had him a year later, like within days of Tinley's birthday. So Tinley's birthday is the 21st of December. Maddox's birthday is the 24th. So what got me through the healing journey, honestly, I didn't know it, but I've probably, I just pressed it down and I pushed it back, I was pregnant again, and I was dealing with this new chronic illness that I have to manage, and learning everything about that. I, for 2 seconds, was like, crap, I did not record audio, but it's recording. Okay. And that got me through it, and not grieving like her birthday. I was excited that she had a birthday. Like, oh my gosh, but now we have a new baby that, it just, so many wild emotions. But with Maddox, I was very, very high risk, at the doctor all the time. And then we had him, and he was actually in the NICU for a week. So Al and I stayed in the hospital for a week with him, going back and forth to the NICU, dealing with all of that. And then, just learning the motions of being a new mommy. And then a little over a year, I got pregnant with Cruz. And I remember the day I was like, something's not right. Like, my period's not starting. Something just felt weird. And I was like, I think I need to take a pregnancy test. So everybody was home. Alan was actually like sitting in the office. This was at our other home before we moved here. And the bathroom was literally right across the hallway, and the bathroom door was open. I took a pregnancy test. It sat on the counter. I came out and I was like, it says pregnant. We are pregnant. This is crazy. And I was just like in straight denial. Like it was like, what? This is crazy. So we were pregnant with Cruz. And again, very, very high risk pregnancy. I mean, being a parent and having a baby plus high risk pregnancy is a lot. And having a chronic illness that you have to deal with and manage every single day that you have no control over is wild. And yeah, I mean, I just figured that out, but I was at the doctor all the time because you just know by the way I changed doctors and everything from Tinley's experience to the boys, but we, you know, the doctors are worried. They want me to be healthy. They want the baby to be healthy. Alan's worried. I'm worried. Like everybody's like on 10, you know, but successfully we have Cruz. But I was actually admitted into the hospital at 2 different occasions, and what was the word I was going to say? Regulation. I don't even know what word I was going to say. Alan's story. Let's just use a simple word, Amber. Alan's story versus my story of how this went down are 2 different things. I think I was admitted to the hospital twice. Alan thinks just once. But I went to like triage. Stuff was going on. And then they admitted me. And I stayed for a few days. And then they released me after a week. And then I got admitted back. And this was all because I could not control my blood sugar. It didn't matter how much insulin I took, what I ate or didn't eat, any of that. My blood sugar was elevated, which is very, very dangerous for me and the baby. And they're like, you've got to get into the hospital. We have to keep you here. Our job is to help you have a healthy baby and you survive this. And I was actually in the hospital for over a month with being pregnant with Cruz. So I'm also a mom and I'm not able to do all the things for my baby at home. Plus, I have a baby that I could deliver any day, but I'm in the hospital until he comes. It was so insane, you guys. So imagine over 4.5 weeks, almost 5 weeks of being in a hospital, and you don't actually know when you're going home. You know, it could be 2 months because his due date was really Christmas Eve, Cruz's due date, but I had him December 3rd. And it was by C-section. So he ended up being too big, and they were like scared that he would be stuck coming out. And they measured him or whatever. But actually when he was born, he was way bigger than they thought. So, but we have Cruz. This is years ago, you guys. Cruz will be turning 10. Maddox will be turning 12. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Maddox will be turning 12. Tinley will be turning 13. Cruz will be 10. So it'd be 13, 12, and a 10-year-old. That's the ages of our kids. That's crazy. Okay, so it just takes me a minute. All right, so that's that. Now, in the midst of all of that, I have been on insulin pumps. I have been doing injections. I have been on monitors. I have come off of everything and just listen to my body. Like, I mean, you say it, I've done it when it comes to type 1 and trying to manage it. I am now on a Dexcom, which is something that I wear for 10 days on my body, and it sends readings to my cell phone. And then from there, I inject into my body probably 7 to 8 times a day, a shot. It depends, but I give myself a shot all day. I mean, I can be driving down the road and I'm giving myself a shot. I can be in the bathroom about to get in the shower. I'm giving myself a shot. I can be in the middle of dinner at a really fancy restaurant and I'm giving myself a shot, and I'm bleeding outside of my leg because I gave myself a shot. I'm wearing a dress. I'm wearing jeans. I'm wearing leggings. Like I am finding a way that normally I would say probably 7 times out of 10, no one knows that I'm doing it. No one knows. But now my family, and I say, when I use the word family, like, yes, my immediate everybody, but the boys and Alan, they know when I'm giving myself a shot because they know exactly what I'm doing. Like I'm digging in my purse for something, and then I just go under the table a little bit give me a little shoot, a little shot up, you know? And then I sometimes make a face at the kids when I do it, and I close my eyes and I doze off and I act silly. And then they can smell the insulin from the pen. It's just crazy, but by the pool, I can give myself a shot. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm doing it. Okay. So let's just be clear. So anyways, that's just a little bit about me, because I think that's going to help kind of understand a little bit about what we're going to talk about today in a nutshell. So, we're about 18 minutes in, and I gave you a little overview of that part of me. So I also told you I was in the beauty industry. It's been over 2 decades. In 2021, I stepped away from working with any other companies, and I just wanted to work on my own solo. And I didn't know really what that looked like. I just knew I didn't want to represent another beauty brand, because working for other brands in their dream is very different from just you. And so I was kind of limited to what I could do and say. And once I grew and developed as a woman and knew what I wanted for me and my family and my dreams and ambition, I just knew I needed to just be solo. And that made me really happy. So at that time, I had been contributing a lot financially to the family. But Alan's always been the number one sole provider in our home. But still what I did mattered, because what I was doing went to certain things. It allowed us to actually get our kids in private school. That was one of the things Alan and I agreed on in the beginning. And it was well, I need you to take on this, So there was a lot of stuff, and I had extra expenses having my own studio and just fun money and just whatever. So anyways, I know when you're married, it's everybody contributes, but this is how he's I'm the man. I want to provide. You work or you don't. I don't care. You're a mom, and you are here to raise our children, right? We both do it together as a team, but he's you're doing the most important job right now. And it's the hardest job ever. No one is really clear about that. Even before you get married, they're oh my gosh, y'all are so cute together. Are you going to get married? Oh my God, I love that. Everybody does that to everyone. I don't care what part of life that you're in. And then when you're engaged to someone, you're oh my gosh, when's the wedding? Are you going to have a big wedding? What are you going to do? It's that, the pressure. Then you have the wedding. Then you get married. And then it's oh my gosh, where are you going on your honeymoon? Are you going on a honeymoon? Oh my gosh, are you going to Italy? Yes. They're wanting the most extravagant thing for you. Then you do that. And then the next thing is oh my God, are you going to have babies? You're going to be a mommy and a daddy. Oh my gosh, when are you having kids? How many kids do you want? Where do you want to live? Do you want to have a farm? Do you want to be homestead? What's up? The pressure is unbelievable, but no one tells you how freaking hard it is. No one's hey, you know what? I just want you to understand marriage is super tough, so you might want to take a minute. Okay, my cat is on the table, I swear to you. Trooper, if you touch... Oh, Trooper. No, sir. Come here, buddy. Trooper. He just wants to smell everything. He's so aggravating. So anyways, I say all that because it's just really tough. You as a mom listening, you're yes, I have 100,000 kids. I get it. My life is crazy, and you can have one child and it feels like you have a house full of children, right? You can actually have 10 kids and you're no, it's crazy. So I have 2, and it takes all I have. It really does. My mental space. So I thought this would be really cool to just talk about. I'm going to give you some highlights. We're going to talk about weight loss. We're going to talk about parenting, me as a mom, parenting, breastfeeding, making baby food, work-life balance, and we're going to talk about a little bit of therapy. Trooper Lykins, if you don't get your butt, get, Trooper, get down. I mean, he is okay, whatever. Therapy, what made me start therapy and pause therapy, and then my personal abuse and trauma that I've gone through. Whew, and I threw that last one in last because that's the heaviest, and that's probably where I'm going to have to start, is that because everything else will make sense when I talk about it. some things you don't know how you're going to react until it happens. I don't want this to be like a heavy, sad podcast at all. I just thought these conversations are one that we need to dive into, and maybe eventually I can break these into like different episodes where I have specialists or someone that, has really good experience in these same conversations. I don't know what that looks like, but I just thought, you know what, this has been weighing on my heart heavily and I want to talk about it. Also, I recorded 2 podcasts a while ago and the audio was jacked up. It just didn't work out. Okay. Let's just say that. And I'm kind of glad it didn't, because I don't know how, maybe it was good that I sat and talked it out, because now I feel like, okay, this is how I really want to say it. So when I was a young girl, y'all have heard my mom's story. If you have not, go back and listen. My mom was on the podcast twice, and such a good episode. And it's just, I will tell you, anybody that I have on and have a conversation with, it's a conversation. It is not like this crazy interview. If you don't want to talk about it, we don't talk about it. We don't go there. It's a back and forth, and that's it. Some questions, just like I might have like some ideas of what I want to chat about, but we don't have to. We go where the conversation leads. My sister actually said that the other day. She said, I love when sometimes I don't know what we're going to talk about because the conversation just naturally happens. And that's what makes a good podcast. And I love that. So, but it's still meaningful and you have takeaways from it. And this platform that I have created and now have this place to have these conversations is just to feel heard and to like put a smile on your face and to feel like there's a purpose, anyways, I love it. So when I was a young girl, I'll just kind of have to think through this as I say it, because I didn't really write a ton of notes down on this because it's very, very blurry. But when I was in second grade, my biological dad passed away, and you can hear about that story through my sister and my mom's podcast. And before that, though, oh gosh, I'm trying to think. I was really, really young. Y'all, I was so young that I was under 5. Let's just say that. I was under 5. I was like 3, 4. I was very, very young. We went and stayed at my dad's house. We were supposed to have supervision by my aunt being there. She left us with him. And that night I was abused by him in a sexual way. And that's all I'm going to say. On the other one I recorded actually said what happened, but I don't want to. And that's okay with me. And it should be okay with you. You have to respect that boundary. But let's just say this. It was not okay and it was wrong. And I didn't know what was going on. But I came home and told my mom and described it to her. And she immediately put me in therapy. And I went and I spoke to someone about it. And I think I only went maybe once, maybe twice. I don't know. But then it was like, no, you're not going to see him again. And then it became, I remember it was like, do you want to see, sometimes even growing up, let's fast forward. Do you want to go, they invited y'all, like the family, the grandma or whatever, invited y'all to go see the family. Do you want to do that? And I would say no. She'd be like, it's up to y'all. Nope, I don't want to. Do you want to take a phone call from them? No, I don't want to. So I had so much confusion as a kid. I didn't know. That's it. I didn't know. I just knew it was wrong. And that's it. And so growing up, never talked about it. I never talked about it anymore. Every now and then in my brain, it would come up. Something would happen, or I would hear a story and it would trigger like the thought. And I'd be like, gosh, that's so messed up. Like, how can someone do that to like a child? And especially being so young, like what the crap is wrong with you? And I knew he was messed up. He was messed up. That's no excuse for him, but he was a freaking idiot and a loser, and he was messed up. And so I'm like, it's just wrong. So anyways, when I was dating Alan at this time, we went to a family beach trip, And I have a fuse, you guys. I don't know if y'all would believe it, but I will lose my mind. I will lose my mind. And that's just what it is, period. I had a blow up at the beach over who knows what. Don't know. And it's always typically between me and my mom or me and my sister or something like that. And it wouldn't stop. And so we got back from this trip, and I remember sitting outside I think it was like a Zaxby's or something like that, sitting outside like at a table, and me and my mom had a conversation, and we talked about the trip and how I lost it, and and then my abuse came up in that conversation. And I remember her saying something along the lines of like, I know this affects you. Like, and you don't even realize it affects your daily, and it does. And so it just, then like my best friends growing up, it always came up in conversations, because when you're a kid and like, oh, boys, do you like that boy or whatever? Like, I was always like, it just came up. Like, I think maybe only two of my best. So like Morgan was one of my best friends growing up. We still talk today. Jordan as well. And I think at that time, maybe Haley knew. I'm not really sure, but those are the girls that like I'm very close with still today. And they knew, and several other people I think knew, maybe, I don't know, but I know that they for sure knew. Morgan and Jordan did. And I was like, this is what happened to me as a kid. And I just want you to know, because I don't look at like a boy relationship maybe the same way you do, like being boy crazy or whatever, because I think all men are gross. Like, I just had this mentality, all men only want one thing. If a dad can do this to a young daughter, what does a teenage boy think about? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not even their child. So that was always in my head, and it affected me, and I didn't realize how deep it did. So then fast forward, that doesn't mean I didn't like boys or have boyfriends or I wasn't boy crazy or all this stuff, because I was, but it was always something that affected my life. And I never told Alan until we were married and after kids. Can y'all believe that? Because it never was a thing where I was like, oh my gosh, hey, by the way, let me tell you all my past trauma, because I didn't think about it like that, where I thought that it would play a part into my marriage. So we had kids. I think we had both of the boys. We had all three of the kids, actually. I don't think Alan knew anything until I think I told him earlier on. He says he doesn't remember or something like that. I don't want to speak for him, put words in his mouth. But another situation came up when I was, maybe it was like 2019 or something like that. No, I bet it was like 2021, something like that. I actually don't really know. The year doesn't matter, but something happened, and my first cousin, I'm not going to say any names, but it was a very public story within like the community. I don't know how far it went, but you know how like the Elevation Church like kind of popped off, and they had like all these little like places. Well, their church did that. So my grandfather's a pastor, then my uncle's a pastor. Well, then his first son was a pastor. So that's my cousin. He kind of built up this church. I don't know if he did it by himself or whom, whatever. I didn't follow it, but he actually was having an affair on his wife for 2 years, and he was still leading the church. And I mean, there's a lot to the story, but I'm like, when that came out, I about lost everything in my body. I was like, you freaking disgusting scumbag, that you are going to go do this with another person. Like, it just like infuriated me, and it grossed me out. And I think so many times men take advantage of women in vulnerable situations. Either they're young and they don't know any better and they won't say no, or they've been intoxicated and you can get away with it, and it just because they're not thinking straight. Many things happen. And sometimes you are a grown person and you're just actively like having intercourse with someone and having an active affair, right? On both parties. So anyways, like it just like really, really, it just set me back. And, that night at home, and I didn't realize this too, but later on in our marriage, our physical, like us being physical with each other sometimes would have like this like trauma to it. Do you know what I mean? And it was attached to my abuse. And Alan would be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's wrong. Am I doing something? Whatever. And I'm like, it's not you, it's me. Like, I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And like sometimes that would happen and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And I would be upset. I would cry. I would shut down. I would leave the room. I would go sleep on the couch. Like, because I had an issue with feeling taken advantage of. And I've worked through that with therapy. I wouldn't say fully because I think it's a work in progress because I did pause my therapy, but I would just be like, this is crazy, you know? And so so anyways, there's all that. So just to kind of like stream all that together, any stories I hear about, it doesn't matter who you are. If you are a pastor, if you run a huge company, if you're just a regular person working at the store down the road, like I don't trust anyone, man or woman. I don't trust you. I don't trust your intentions, period, the end, you know? Alan is so patient and he is so kind. He is very sassy though. Do not let him play you left. Okay. He is as sassy gets. He rubs off on me. I rub off on him. And Lord knows. Okay. We are very much opposite, but we are literally so much the same person these days. And I think that happens naturally in marriages, but he's so calm with me. He really is. And he's very patient, but he definitely he is very firm as well. And so anyways, I say all that because all of this trauma that got stirred up, it got brought up in like my friend conversations because now as an adult, I made friends. Courage and Olivia are like my best friends as well. And I mean, I share everything with only like a handful of people in my life. And that's it. But definitely like Courage and Olivia know a lot. And so does Jordan and Morgan and Haley. They just know a lot. And you know, you confide in your girlfriends, right? But I would have these conversations. They're like, you need to have a therapist. Like you actually need, this is not like you just brush it off and keep moving. And so I started therapy solo and then it was great, but conversations kept coming up where I was like, I think we need couples therapy. And because communicating as a man and a woman are very different. And now when you have trauma involved with it, and I don't just have trauma with abuse, now I have trauma with, I lost a daughter. So all of this plays a part in how I react to things. And so I did the therapy, but I'm going to tell you why I paused it. Every session was good, but I left crying. And I left exhausted. I left talking about things that I didn't know we were going to go there that day, but it came up because it just happened. And if you've been in therapy, you understand it happens. And it took me almost a week to recover. It would take me like 3 to 4 days to stop crying. And then it would take me maybe a day or two where I felt like I had relief. And then I had another therapy session, had it every week. And we did this for months. And I finally was like, I can't do it anymore. I cannot do this anymore. I'm done. So I was like, I definitely go 0 to 100 and I'm like, delete it. I don't want therapy ever again in my life. I'm done. All this stuff, like just trash my file, burn it. She's like, well, there's a really easy way to do it. We can pause it and you can come to me at any time. She's a Christian woman, so she has the same values as we do, being believers and followers of Christ. And I'm like, that, so much respect for her. And she was a mom as well and married. And she's independent. She had left like a bigger company and went more independent. And anyways, amazing. And they were virtual. So I could be in my office and I could have these meetings with her. I could be in my truck and have these meetings with her. And it was really good. So that's a little bit of that, you guys. I really think I do want to start therapy back next year. I am looking forward to just like having that conversation in our home again about starting that back. And yeah, it was very, very helpful. And it allowed Alan, as my husband, to understand when I say things, what I mean by that, what that means. And that he takes no feeling like, oh, I did something. He's like, this is because of this and this connection here. Like, it's just like, he gets it and it's awesome. So now talking about, because now this plays a part into how I parent, and I did not know I was going to be this way as a parent, but as a parent, I am so helicopter mom. Some parents, I think, hear that and they probably take offense to that. I don't. I'm like, good. Are there 3 or 4 helicopters? Because that would be really helpful to have more eyes on this, I'm cool with it. Some people say it as like, oh my God, you're such a helicopter mom, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, you wish that you could have a parent like me. No, I'm just kidding. See, that's where I get sassy, But I'm like, let me tell you something. I was gifted these beautiful children that God gave us. I want to protect every ounce of that, So when I had the boys, I knew immediately I wanted to breastfeed. Back when I had Tinley, it was in 12, Maddox was in 13, Cruz was in 15. So those years that I had them, natural medicine maybe was a conversation, but social media was not what it is like it is now back then. And you didn't hear a lot of that. And so maybe I would have gone down that route. I don't know. We did some vaccinations with Maddox and some with Cruz. I think maybe not. Can't really recall, but we do not vaccinate. I say that very firmly, even though they did some, we did not do all. So we do not vaccinate. We go to an integrative doctor, where they practice medicine and natural, which I do love, but we do have health insurance where we can go to other doctor's offices if needed, but that's our primary, is an integrative office. And anyways, we need insurance for different things, especially with my type 1. But if emergencies or whatever happen, which we have children, they're going to happen. So it just makes sense. But anyways, with all that being said, I knew though, I wanted to breastfeed my kids. And I wanted to do all that I could to have a healthy baby and to be able to nurse them, I think probably thinking like, oh my gosh, because formula is so expensive, but there wasn't good formula like there is now, for alternatives. And there wasn't really talked about where, oh, if you can't breastfeed, I can donate my milk to you. That wasn't really a huge conversation or a community. Maybe it was, you guys. I was just not in that room. I don't know. So I can't really stand firm on like it wasn't big then. I just wasn't in that space. But I knew, I was like, if my body can produce the milk, I'm going to nurse this baby. So I nursed Maddox until he was like 13 months. And I think I stopped whenever I was just like, I don't even know what happened. I just think I just like was drying up, And at that time he started taking like other milk, like whole milk, and he was eating and doing all the things. And I was like, he's just using me kind of as a pacifier. But I do know when I was nursing him, I thought I want to create a mold of my breast, and I want it to be like this silicone feel where it feels like my natural body so he can hold it in his car seat. I was like, this boy needs a boob. Okay. I was like, all he wants is his boobie. He doesn't even want freaking milk from it. He just wants to hold this thing by his face. And I ain't even lying. So I breastfed on demand. I did not have a schedule. When the baby fussed and wanted some milk and wanted to nurse, I nursed. So through the night, through the day, That's what I did. My baby was with me. We also co-slept. I did not know I was going to do that. I didn't go into it thinking I'm going to co-sleep. I just knew I had a bassinet and we had a crib, and that was just kind of what you did. But with me nursing, Maddox did so well laying next to me. I mean, I would sit up for a long time nursing him in the bed, and then we would kind of get snuggled up with like pillows and position him so he wouldn't roll over certain ways, and I would go to sleep, but he would be like right there, and then I would move one thing and then I could nurse him again. And I was like, we had a queen bed. Girl, he was in that bed with us and we co-slept. And I slept so much better with him beside me because it was just like we were each other's comfort, you know? So that was that. And then I had a break of nursing and everything. I lost so much weight. I think I gained like a healthy amount with Maddox, 30 to 40 pounds or something like that. Y'all are probably thinking, girl, that ain't healthy. That's too much. I don't know. I gained a few pounds with Maddox, okay? But I got back down to like, I'm not even playing with y'all, like 117 pounds or something like that. I think I was 107 at one time. I was like tiny. That I remember I was on a work trip and this girl came up to me and she was like, you need to eat a cheeseburger. Like, do you want a cheeseburger? And I was like, do you want me to slap a donut in your face? Like, what? Like, I was so taken back. And I was like, actually just ate lunch. Actually had a huge plate of food. I can't help that I'm eating and my body is like not holding on to it. It's just dropping weight. But my blood sugar was so wacko and out of control. I was nursing and that. Okay. So I got tiny. But I made up for that because I got pregnant with Cruz and I gained like 70 to 80 pounds. I was a well and my blood sugar was way out of control. And I was basically almost like bedridden for a long time of stuck in a freaking hospital. Like, what am I supposed to do? Do cartwheels down the hallway? Like, stop it. They wouldn't even let me go outside and walk across the street to the mall. I was so pissed off. They're like, if you leave, we're not going to cover if something happens to you. I was like, y'all freaking buttholes. So anyways, I gained a lot of weight with Cruz, but then I also nursed Cruz. Cruz was also a great nurser, but we did the same thing. Alan had gotten Maddox on a really good schedule of sleeping in his bed, his little big boy bed. He went to a twin bed with like a little thing on the side of it to block him from like rolling or whatever. But then he wanted to also get back in the bed with us. He would get up in the middle of the night, and then I had Cruz. Like, we were all in the bed. Girl, we were all in the bed, honey. And it was fine with me. But I nursed Cruz for like, I think 14 months, a little bit longer than Maddox. Cruz was handsy. His hand was in my shirt all the time. He had to be attached to me all the time. And he would laugh. He would get to the age where he would like kind of nurse for 2 seconds and then he would like come off of nursing and then he would like cackle. And I'm like, you don't even care about nursing. You just think it's funny. And so he's just so silly, but he would be running around this house. Like, it was this house we live in. He'd be running around this house. He would run up to me and then he would come and he would want to pull my shirt down and just start nursing. I'm like, you are walking up to me trying to nurse on me. Shut up. Stop it. Nope. We're done. We're done. No. Shop is closed. So, but anyways, so I am so thankful that I produced milk for them like that, but I was not a good pumper. So I did produce milk for nursing, but I did not pump well. I got on the pump that your insurance gives you. I can't even think of the name of that one, but it was a really cool pump. That one I got a good amount from, but I was thankful to be in the place of my life where if I did leave the house, I wasn't gone long and I had just a tiny bit to like give them one feeding if Alan needed to give them a bottle. But by the time I started leaving them like that, they were like already on solids too. So it was okay if I was gone for a little bit. We were kind of, supplementing stuff. And so it worked out. So very, very thankful. Alan knew immediately, hey, when we have kids, I want to be hands-on mom, period. That's it, and have a flexible job where I can take them with me or whatever that looks like. You can watch them while I work or something. So that was that. And now let's talk about making baby food. Let me tell you this though, nursing, I think some moms are different. They would like get their babies out of their car seat and like do whatever they needed to in the car. I was paranoid about that. I didn't want anything to happen to them. Obviously, I lost Tinley. I was like, I don't want anything to happen to my baby. And I mean, it wasn't like a car accident or anything like that, but it just makes you very like scared on how you do parent and the moves that you make. But I would climb in the back seat of whatever vehicle you're in, and I would get myself over the car seat and I would rip my shirt down and I would nurse these babies, and we would be driving for 30 minutes somewhere. Y'all, I did the thing. Okay. So if any mamas have ever done that, please comment and let me know, because I know I'm not the only one. I was getting as creative as I could. Okay, so let's talk about making baby food. When Maddox could start eating, the only thing I really bought from the store was those little rice cakes, little things that they could like snack on, and rice cereal, which I think now is like, don't give your kid rice cereal, but it was like a filler rice cereal, mix it with a little water or breast milk or something like that and let him eat it. He didn't eat that like all the time. He just ate it a little bit, you know? But then I started making baby food. We would go to the farmer's market once a week, and I would stock up on all the fruits and veggies and things like that. And I would blend, and I made homemade applesauce, and I made homemade greens, and anything that we ate at the house, I would puree it in a way that he could eat it. So I never bought a can of baby food ever in my life. I've never eaten a can of baby food myself ever. I thought it was disgusting. Ooh, I don't want that. I think now stuff that's made is probably very different. And I was just uninterested. I was like, if we're buying stuff, why can't I make him food? So yeah, I made all my baby food. I didn't do it to be like, look at me, I'm such a good mom. I was trying to just be smart about it. I was like, if he's going to eat something though, why can't he eat what we're eating, but I puree it, you know? So I had like that little baby bullet thing and all the stuff what we'd freeze. And if we left the house, I had like a cooler and you thaw it. And then I had a thermos if it was warm and how to keep it warm. I made it work. I made it work with the resources that we had. And then when they were able to eat like table food, you know, we just introduced that as we needed to. So I don't really have any tips on that, but I would love to like maybe have more conversations about making baby food. But that's really all it was. I did not buy organic. So I wasn't like that, because I was just like, it's vegetables. It's what it is. But now as a mom and for myself and for Alan, we've made a decision if we can get it organic, we're going to get it. And if for some reason we can't, like it's fine, get whatever, but we really only get organic now in the house. But then I didn't. I also assumed that everything, this was my assumption that I should not have assumed, but that everything in a farmer's market is organic. That's not true. So just FYI note to self, if you were like me and thought that, it's not. And then I want to talk about work-life balance. And then I'm going to go back into a little bit of parenting, but there is a balance, but it only comes at a certain time in your life. So I just think if you are a parent, you need to do all you can to parent, right? But when they're little, and just like put all your energy into that. And I sometimes feel like a hypocrite when I say this, or I feel like one to myself, because when my babies were young, I'm like, you know, this is another thing that my kids slept. I napped when they napped. We had a schedule. We were up at a certain time. We did all of our things. We took a bath or a shower around lunch after we ate, and we took a nap for 2 to 3 hours, sometimes 4. We would get up, make dinner or go to dinner, come back home, and we would go to bed. I mean, you know, like we had a pretty strict schedule, and if I had to do any work, they were with me. So that was my balance. And I would use my phone a lot back then. Technology was like, that's what it was. Text messaging and stuff, going live on Facebook and stuff like that was kind of my stuff. So I could do that with the kids. Like I didn't have to like have a sitter at that time. But then there were sometimes I hired a babysitter twice a week for like 3 hours, and I would go and do client work. So I think sometimes it's okay to like, that was like my hobby, my fun, my work, like that was that. So you kind of need to have your own thing. You know, I think a lot of times women are like, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour. That's my time. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of how I see it now looking back. So but there's not really a good balance. It's just called like juggling, and then sometimes you drop the ball, right? So I have this battle with myself all the time. I love to work. I want to work all the time. I want my brand to be successful. I want to have a warehouse where we stock and have all the product and manufacture it somewhere. I want to have an office where I have a marketing team and all these people that I can come and work with in the office every day. Like, if I had all the time in the world, I would have that right now. But I don't, because do you know why? Because I'm a mommy and I want to take my kids to school and pick them up. I want to be at the teacher's meeting if I need to be there. I want to be able to, if the school calls and says, hey, something happened at school, your baby's not feeling good, you need to come pick him up, I'm going to be there in 15 minutes. I want to, or in 5, like sometimes I'm right down the street. I want to be able to go to all the sports, the practices, the games, the competitions. If the cousins have something, I want to do my best to be there unless our kids have a sport activity. I want to be able to not have the kids in after school. I want to pick them up on time and get home so they can play. We are very fortunate to have tutoring in our physical home twice a week for the kids, 3 times a week during summer. So they come home and we get to have them in private tutoring. And then, I want to be that person. I want to make their lunches. I want to make the dinner. It may not be this immaculate dinner, but I'm like, I want to have the food. I want to do the grocery shopping. I want to clean out the fridge. I want to do all that stuff. You know what I don't want to do? I don't want to clean my house. So we do have somebody that comes in and does clean the house once a week, and it's amazing. But I keep everything in place. So let's just be clear on that. And it's a clean now. They ain't deep cleaning every single time, but they cleaning. So, I'm still moving stuff and doing things or whatever, because I just enjoy doing that. But as a parent, I want to be hands on deck. And I only have, when you think about it, with the kids' ages, I only have a little over a handful of years left until they're like out of high school, but they're going to be driving soon. And then they're going to be like, peace out. I want to go hang out with my friends. Like, I don't have long. So I can put all of my energy into my work later. And I'm very fortunate that my husband has a very successful company and he provides very well for us. And if I didn't work another day in my life, I wouldn't have to. So I'm not in the position that I have to work. I'm in the position that I want to work because I thrive off of that. But his company, he is not able to do what he does if I didn't do what I did. And we understand that about each other. He's like, if you didn't do what you did at home and with the kids, I could not do what I do with my company. And he's like, so your role is huge. And so we have that respect for one another. But he is so supportive over, I could say right now something crazy off the wall. He'd be like, okay, well, how do you think that you can do that? Let's talk about how we can do that. We talk things through. He's very much like, okay, let's hear what you have to say about that. But he's really supportive over all my dreams and goals with my brand and my product line. So that's really amazing. But that's why I'm the parent I am. Our kids also don't do sleepovers. They've never slept over at anybody's home unless it's a grandparent or a cousin. That's it. And that's the rule. I don't think it's really ever been a quote unquote rule until this last year. They've gotten old enough where they have asked, not like necessarily to stay at someone's home, but it's come up in a conversation. Like, oh, we don't stay at, we don't whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really into that. And I'm going to tell you why. Is because we hear a lot of stories all the time of things happening to children. I don't ever want to be in a situation where I'm like, I could have prevented that in some way. And I don't like that. And because of my abuse when I was little, it was done by my father. He was not really my father. He was my seed donor. Is that what we call that? Sperm donor? Yeah, he loaned that, okay? And thankfully I'm here and I am who I am. I'm just thankful that God's had his hands all over my life and the way I move and work and all that. But I just think I don't ever want something like that to happen to the boys. And Alan's a little bit more like, he's not as helicoptery as I am at all. He wants the boys to be safe and have fun and do all that stuff, but we definitely have things in place that we agree on. And then sometimes we don't agree, but we have to respect what the other one wants, or the reasoning behind that. And so, that's just what it is. And, even here we have so much land that's wooded, They could go on and like never see a person. But do you know how scary that also is? Amazing, but scary. So sometimes it's like you live in a neighborhood, there's like 10,000 people in your neighborhood. You don't even know who the person next door is. Well, yeah, we live in the middle of the woods. I don't know what's out in these freaking woods. A freaking stranger could be just chilling out in the woods, having camp, Y'all have seen, what's the name of that movie? Oh my gosh, now I can't even think about the movie. What is the name of that movie? Where the little boy, Mr. Wilson, dang it. Y'all drop in the comments the name of that movie. I cannot even think about it. But the homeless man that's out underneath the bridge. I'm like, I don't know who's out there. And animals and snakes and like coyotes and all types of stuff that we have out here. But it just like, Alan has made, some content behind me going, boys, like that's my yell outside because it carries, and I pull from my diaphragm and I'm like, boys, like so loud. And I've just started doing that naturally, but I'm like, I just want them to be safe and have fun. But it's just a lot as a parent. And there's a lot I'm not saying too that we put into place to protect them. We also have them at a certain place for school that we are like, if they're not there, they'll homeschool. And I don't know, maybe one day we will homeschool. I don't know. It's not a no, it's not off the table, but it's not a right now. And, it just depends on the scenario or the time and place or whatever in life. But the boys, literally, if I told them today, you never have to go back to school, we're going to homeschool, they would be jumping for freaking joy. They've actually asked for several years, and I'm just like, we're not ready for that right now, but we've talked about how if we did do it, what that would look like. I keep yawning, you guys. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. And I also want to talk about weight too in a minute, but I keep yawning because I have not had as much caffeine as I'm used to having. Cause I'm kind of like doing a little bit of a healthy detox. So, but anyways, I'm a protective parent, and for good reason, as we all should be. We all parent very differently, but at the end of the day, we're all very much the same. We want to protect our children. I would hope. Now, there's some parents out there that are freaking chaotic and they could care less about their children. Hello. And they're selfish and only care about themselves. And that's a whole nother story. And so, but yeah. So anyways, that's the way I move, you guys. And let's talk about weight. So I'm basically in my soft girl era. And I am the heaviest I've ever been in my whole entire life. My average weight is about 120 to 125. And that is my happy place with my weight. But I got to a place of being like 135. I didn't love it. I was a little bit thicker, but I was still little and I still fit into my clothes. It was just a little bit more snug and it was fine. But I was like, oh, if I want to drop 5 pounds, I know how to do it, My arms were still toned. My body was still toned. Like everything was fine. And it was toned. Like I'm more fat than muscle my whole life. I've not been like this, like muscular type of person, but I've had a good shape to my body. And like my breasts have always had a decent size. My butt's always had a decent size. Like my leg, like I just feel like my body was like well proportioned in a way. But then after I had Cruz, I got little again, but it was very easy for me to fluctuate in weight. So then I went to like 135 to 140 like for a while. And then in 2020, I went with a personal trainer, Olivia and I did, and we did a home workout session. for like 3 months. Oh, excuse me, for like 3 months. And it was really awesome. And I saw my body changing, but then we had a falling out with her, and, we stopped working out, and kind of like everything opened back up. We started going back to the studio. And so then we ended up not working out as consistently. And I was like, bump it. My body will be like this forever. I'm not worried about it. Well, hi, Amber. Your body is not going to be like that forever. Okay. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I am like 35 and my body's weird. What's going on, you know? And so like then 36, 37, 38, everything just started changing, and hormones and all that type of stuff. And so I started putting on a little bit of weight. So then I was like 140, 145. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the heaviest I've ever been. I don't like this. But I had never hit 150. And so, but let me tell you this. So we're in 2025 right now. In 2020, Alan, he's an avid hunter. Every time I say avid hunter, he thinks like I'm extreme he hunts. He travels, he hunts, he goes on trips all the time. He's prepping, he's doing all the things. He's a hunter. Okay. He's got lots of things to have him have a successful hunt. So he brought a deer home, and I was like, don't you dare bring that in our backyard, because he was hunting locally. I was like, please do not bring it home. Do not skin it. And if you do, I don't want to see it. I don't even want to know what happened. Nothing. Do you want to know what happened? I walk through my living. This lounge was like a second living space. I walked through, and we have windows all in the back of this house. Guess what I saw? I saw spotlights on a deer hanging from my building. Interesting. I was like, I could murder you. I was so mad, and I was so grossed out. And from that day forward, for 5 years, I ate zero meat. I didn't eat any meat. When I mean any, if it came from an animal, I didn't eat it. I didn't even eat cheese for a long time. I became straight up vegan. I didn't want nothing. And then I had to learn what vegan, pescatarian meant, plant-based meant, everything like that. So I went straight vegan for almost 2.5 something years. Then I started adding cheese, so I went more plant-based. And then after like the third 3.5, 4 years, I added a little bit of fish into my diet. So then I became pescatarian. And then 5 years hit, and I was like, my body's really doing weird stuff, and I cannot, like, I feel like maybe I would have better blood sugar if I ate more protein, even though I was getting really creative with my protein intake. But I was like, I was a rabbit. I ate like grass. And so, but then, and I was like 140, 145 at that time. It just fluctuated. I could be 138, or something like that too. It just moved around. It was fine. It was like water weight. But I remember one day I was like, and the conversation kept happening, and everybody was like, you need to eat meat. Like, why don't you eat meat again? And I was like, do you understand how disgusting, oh my goodness, meat is? And, but it finally, after months and months and months of like having a conversation about it, I convinced myself to start eating steak again. Alan, at one time, we had gotten half a cow. So we had a lot of meat here at the house. And by the way, I've never had deer meat, FYI, even though he hunts. And then, so what is that called? Venice? I've never had it. And then we recently just got a whole cow. We have so much freaking meat. We have 2.5 freezers full of freaking meat right now. It's crazy. And so anyways, but I was like, okay, so last August of 2024, and this is how I'll end today. August of 2024, I had my first steak, and I wanted it well done. Alan made it. It was a little bit chewy, but that's how I wanted it. I didn't want any red. I didn't want any blood. I didn't want no trace of nothing. I just want meat, hard meat. And so I had it, and I was like, okay, I did it. So little by little, I kept introducing more meat into my diet. Then I would eat eggs again and stuff like that. But you would be very surprised if you look up plant-based diet and options. There's plant-based eggs. There's cheese. There's alternatives when it comes to sandwich meat, all types of stuff. So I had, and meatballs, tons of things. So I really made a lot of food here. And then tofu, I fell in love with tofu. I ate very well, but I got creative. And so, in my family, everybody adapted to it. It was what it was. Actually, it was funny. We went out to eat a week and a half ago, and somebody was like, "You're eating meat again?" I was like, "Yeah, it was last August I started eating meat again." And actually, I didn't even realize the month it was. Olivia brought that up to me, and I was like, "I've been eating meat for like almost 2 years now." And she's like, "No, you haven't. It hasn't even been a year. It was like June or something." And I was like, "Yes, it has." We looked in my phone and looked back, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it was August of 24. It's not even August of 25 yet." And she's like, "Duh." Anyways, and now it's September of 25, so it's been over a year. But I've put on more weight this year. And I'm like, why? But I'm also 39. So I'm 39. My height is 5'5", and right now my scale says between 158 and 161. Why does my weight keep going? And I'm like, is my scale broke? No, my body's broken. I also started like a couple different like health supplement things. I did like Lemmy, GLP-1. I've never taken like the weight loss shot, which I've tried to get it 1,000 times, but no one will sell it to me. My endocrinologist would, but my insurance won't cover it. And I'm not paying $1,200 to $1,500 for a freaking shot every month. I'm not doing it. It's too expensive. I don't care if you can afford it or not. I'm like, that's so dumb. And people are getting it for like $50. Like, I actually should maybe call and ask how much it really is, but I think that's how much it was. But he did. He was like, I'll watch you with it, and that's fine. So I might check back into it because I'm not against it. I'm like, I don't care how I lose weight. But I've done a lot of things. I'm on a hormone medicine right now. It's a natural hormone medicine that's like helping me with my levels, because this last year I've been sweating a lot. I'm in the premenopausal stage, and I've not been formally diagnosed, but I'm not an idiot, and I'm a woman, and I know what my body's doing, and I'm in premenopausal. Like, don't be coming for me. Everybody's like, who told you that? Did you self-diagnose yourself? I'm like, I did. And like, stop coming for me. So yeah, I'm like on a natural hormone medicine for that. And if I see that it makes a difference, I will definitely be talking about it on social media. I don't have any partnership with any of these places, but I've just done some things, and I'm like, is it the pills? Is it the higher protein that I'm eating? Is it all of that lack of exercise? So like, I go through these mood swings, as we all do, of like our journey with fitness. And some women are like, that's all they do is fitness. And I love that. And I wish that was where my brain was. My brain wants to do it. It's the time though. So I'm a big walker. Like, I'll go and walk 2 to 4 miles, and I love that. And I can listen to a podcast or watch something, and then I'll go into the gym at home and I'll do weights. But when I do everything by myself, sometimes it's like self-sabotaging myself, because I don't have anybody there to push me. And Pops was working out with me some and like training me. Then my sister was doing it with me some, and then she couldn't. And then Alan always says he wants to get into the gym with me, and he wants to get into the gym, but our schedules don't really align, because he wants to do it like at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, I don't want to do it early in the morning. I want to do it like midday or in the afternoon or evening. He's like, I don't want to because I'm exhausted. Like, it's a constant like that. But I do have gym equipment here. We have everything here. Hey, Macy. This is my little Macy girl. She was our first kitty cat. And so that's where it is. And yes, I have a gym membership. We actually have a membership at the YMCA. I don't go, and I don't intend on going. And that's just stop coming for me there too. And our friends are like, join my gym. I'm like, I don't want to join your gym. I want to be at my gym. That is why we have purchased all the equipment that we have. In my head space is fine. It's just sometimes I'm like, meh, I'm all right today. I'll do it tomorrow. So it's just that. And so anyways, that's where I'm at. And I don't understand why I've been putting on weight. But the last few days, I've just cut out eating as much. Like, I'm not a sugary person. I'm not like cakes and cupcakes and things. I love like savory stuff. I want chips and dip. I want crackers. You know what I mean? Like, I love something salty. And so I'm not like, ooh, I want extra cookies. Like, no, I could bump the cookies. Give me them chips. Okay. And so that's what I love. But I'm very much like right now, like boiled eggs, avocado, grilled chicken, and what else am I eating? Tea. It's like ChatGPT is who I talk to sometimes when it comes to like options to eat, and it's like, drink black coffee. I'm like, are you okay? I'm not that committed to the coffee game. Okay. I'm committed to the coffee and cream game. And so I'm like, that's sad. And I'm like, is it my coffee that's making me gain weight with heavy cream? Because I switched to heavy cream this year. I've just done a lot, but I'm like, I'm 39. Macy, if you bite me, girl, stop it. I'm 39. So I'm like, my body's changing. I'm going to be 40 February 7th. By the way, I'm going to have a splash of a birthday party, you guys. Only a select amount of people are coming, but we're going to dance. If you don't dance, anyways, it's not an open invitation. I'm just saying this. I just want to dance. I thought about renting out like a space to do it, but actually I'm just going to do it here at the house. We're going to get a tent. We're going to do lights. We're going to have music. We're going to have a DJ or a killer playlist. And I'm going to wear baggy pants and a baggy sweatshirt because it's going to be kind of cool out. And I'm just going to dance all night. And I'm so freaking excited about that. And, I can't wait. I'm like 40. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited for it. But I'm like, I'm changing my eating habits right now to see if I can just shed pounds naturally by like exercising, which I know I can, and just choosing different options for food. So, and it also helps with my diabetes. So, because I'm a diabetic, if y'all didn't know that. Alan's like, everywhere we go, it's all about your diabetes. I'm like, it is, because people need to know. You know, I hate when a waitress comes up to the table. She's like, do you want to know our options today? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And she's telling me all these options. It's like, we have glazed honey on everything. Everything that you get has 10 pounds of sugar already in it. Like, you know what I mean? And she'll like tell me these options. And then I'm like, no, I wouldn't care for that. She's like, you wouldn't want any of that? Sounds so good. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm a diabetic. You know, it's like it comes up. And I'm like, yeah, because people think I'm being rude. And then I like anyways, how I order at restaurants is too much. I don't really order off their menu. I'm like, okay, this is what I know that y'all have. Can you like make me this though? You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, here she goes again. I'm like, well, because I'm a diabetic. So it just always comes up. So anyways, that is that. I have taken so much of your time. Who's here? Somebody walked into the door. But I'm going to go ahead and go. So it's been a really good conversation. Thank you for being here. It is another episode of Add Me to the Group Chat. So leave your comments. If you have anything that you want to submit, just send it to the email that's going to be in the show notes. And also, it'll be in the description, but also anywhere that you're listening, if it has the subscribe link or the follow link, just go ahead and hit that. And that would be so awesome and help out a ton. Share this with a bestie, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I cannot wait because we have special guests and also some solo episodes with Maddox and Cruz. They have said that they would come back on the podcast and do a fun conversation one-on-one with me. So I cannot wait. They're excited because they are like, oh, can we wear the headphones? And I'm like, you can wear the headphones. So they're going to be able to wear the headphones and have the mic next time. So fun. All right. Well, I will see you next time. I hope you got something out of this podcast. Let me know if you did. Drop your comments. I do hear great feedback from you guys. So that makes me really, really happy. And yeah, anyways, I'll see you in the next one.